Hello and welcome to ChriSTEAM. If you're new, all my links are in the description below this video, and you can learn more about me and my channel by checking out the video up in the eye. Today I have some different ways to organize your device. I thought this might be a good video to make right now since many people are spending a lot more time at home and are using their phones and computers and iPads to connect with their families, friends, jobs, and schools. So let's get to organizing. Many apologies to all the Android users. I use Apple products, so today we'll be organizing the iPhone, MacBook, and iPad. First up is the iPhone. I've played around with a few different ways to organize all the apps on the home screen, and I hadn't actually noticed until I was recording this video, but if you go in the order I'm about to share them with you, then they kind of flow right into one another. So I'd suggest trying them in this order if you're thinking of reorganizing your home screen. That way it's really easy for you to change into trying different ones. And one last tip before we get started is to take a screenshot of your current home screens. This will allow you to have a reference to go back to in case you end up wanting to go back to what you had before, or you can use it as a before and after organization picture. So the first method is to have many different home screens, and to do this I'm just separating all of my apps into different kind of main categories. So the first screen is social related apps, the second screen is more productivity and what I would use for school or working, and then next I have some utilities, and then on the last slide or home screen I have games and like app stores and things like that. And then once you get everything onto the screen that you want it to have it on, you can organize the order and kind of put the most used ones at the top or wherever you like to have your most used apps on your home screen. And you can just play around with what order works best for you, and eventually you'll get the hang of where everything is, and it'll just become second nature that, oh, I need voice memos, I'm gonna click right there. And I kind of put things into rows within the different screens. So on the first screen I have like the main messaging apps that I use, and then it kind of gets gradually like less used as you get to the bottom. And then for the productivity slide or home screen, whatever you want to call it, I have like the Google Docs and Google Classroom and like the main like home apps at the top, and then it kind of gets more and more detailed, and then I have the notes apps at the bottom of the screen. So that's just how I choose to organize it. Everyone's different and everyone has different ways that work for them. So as soon as you find yours, then you'll be all set to go. So like I said, the methods kind of flow right into one another, so this next one is basically the same thing, just everything is grouped into folders. So it makes it slightly more clean, and you just have, instead of a home screen for a certain thing, you have a folder. So the folder that I just made was for my kind of like entertainment apps. This one is for social apps, and I like to do all capital letters, either an emoji or all capital letters, spelling something out, and I like to put spaces in between each letter. It just makes it look slightly more aesthetic, and I like the way that it looks, so that's what I do personally, but you can do whatever you'd like. I know some people like to have an emoji for every single thing. And these folders, depending on how many apps you have, for me it actually fits all on the first home screen, so I only have one home screen on my phone when I use this method, which I think is very simple and very simplistic, so it all depends on how you like to have things organized. And I just keep everything in the same order that I had the screens, so I have social, then the entertainment, then school, and lastly videos and games. And the same thing as we did for the last organization method, once you have all of your apps into the folder that you're happy with, then you can kind of organize them, and you know how you can make multiple kind of slides once you're in a folder. So like for the videos, I'll have all of my visual video stuff on one slide, and then all of the audio visual stuff, or sorry, just the audio stuff on the next slide. And the last method is super easy to transition to from this. You basically just take the 3 most used apps from each folder and put them next to it, which creates kind of like shelves. That's why this method is called shelving. This is my personal favorite and the one that I use right now with my phone. And then what I decided to do for the last one is to just have the 4 folders that I had left over on the bottom, because these are the ones that I use the least, and I kind of combined both this method and the previous method together. So for the MacBook, this is actually footage of when I put all of my folders into my new user that I made on my MacBook, so that I could keep all of my stuff for YouTube onto one desktop and just organize it nice and neatly on there. So I exported the folder from one account to another, and I just dragged everything out of the folder onto the desktop. And now I'm just going to start separating everything into like different categories so that it's nice and organized, so that it's for just the channel and it's really easy to find everything. So I have about 5 different categories: videos, ideas, profile, constant, and the Draw With Me series, which you should go check out. I'll have a new video this Saturday. And I think it's really easy to just move everything down into the corner. That way you have all the room where you want to organize it. And you could do this on the side of the desktop as well, going horizontally. I chose to do it vertically, but I might spice it up and change it later this week. Who knows? And so like I just did, I put under videos the 2 different types of videos that I'm working on at the moment, and then over on the side underneath the ChriSTEAM heart folder, I have the just kind of generic things that go with the channel. And then on the other side, the left-hand side, is more of like the creative pieces of it. And so what I do is I have my main ideas on the top, and then I have little drop downs from it. And then what you just see me doing right now is I'm actually moving the current video down into the bottom, so that if I need to upload the thumbnail, it's really easy to just drag right into the YouTube studio. Or if I'm spreading the word on Twitter or Instagram, I can just drag it right into the upload section. So now that I have everything organized, I think I know where I want everything to be, and I can go into the folders themselves and kind of organize each of them. So like those don't need to be out on the desktop cluttering everything. I can move them into this folder and kind of neaten this place up. This was just a folder that I just threw everything into, and like as I was making it, I just threw it into the folder, so it's kind of a mess, so we're going to clean that up now. Folders are kind of my obsession. I use them probably way too much, but it works. So I'm separating everything within my profile, like the avatar and the background. This is where I keep all of the constant things that I use, so my intro, my outro, my logo, and then music that you'll hear at the end of every single video. This is the Draw With Me video. Currently there's only a couple of things. This is the video for my website, or sorry, the folder from the website. These are just little inspirational ideas that I found, and I just dragged them into there. And that is a document that I add music that I find in the YouTube studio and I really like and I want to remember for a future video. This is a video that I'm working on for you guys about watercolors. And this is the latest video that I've uploaded besides this one. So this is what the videos tab looks like. I have each of my videos in a separate folder and they're all numbered in the order that I uploaded them. So these are all of the clips that you see in the video, the welcome video. And I just organize it all in that folder so that if anything were to happen and I needed to go back and retrieve that footage, it's all in that folder and it's nice and organized and it's just in there. For the pop-up cards video, there's actually little videos within it. I have multiple videos that I'm taking from, and then the audio and the quotes, and then also the thumbnail. This one took a lot of recordings. You actually hear many layers in this video, which you should go check out. I'll link it right up here. And it involved many recordings, so I put all of those in this folder. And then the thumbnail is also in that folder, and I label the thumbnail as such so that I don't get confused with other pictures, because sometimes it takes multiple tries to find a thumbnail that I like. And the same for this water walking video, which I'll also link right up here. This is where I keep the current video. The voiceover is right here, and then the videos that I took while making it. And as you can see, the title of this file is called Thumbnail. That way it's easy to find. I can actually just type it into the search bar and find all of the thumbnails really easily and quick. And lastly, we'll be organizing the iPad. I am using an iPad mini, so I know this will be slightly different depending on the size of your iPad. You might have more sections or spaces to put the apps, but this is what it currently looks like. And I'm going to start by taking the apps out of the bottom little rack, just so that I have all of my apps to organize and I can start fresh and new. And I'm going to do the same thing that we did with the iPhone, just I have a little bit more space and it's a little bit more spread out, which I kind of like the look of. So I'm putting my utilities and things like that on the first screen and my social things on the second screen. If I were you and I used my social things a lot more on my iPad, then I would put the social things on the first section. I just don't use them that often on the iPad, so I keep them on the second because I don't really need to have them all that handy. Whereas I'm using the utilities a lot more, so I keep those right on the first screen when I open my iPad. One important thing to note is that the orientation does matter. So if you're someone who uses the iPad vertically, it will look different, and your organization methods, if you use shelving or folders or something where the order of things really matters to you, it will change when you shift the orientation of your iPad, so just be aware of that. And when you're going to organize in the orientation that you use most often. We're going to end today's video with a quote from Benjamin Franklin. "For every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned." Keep this quote in mind when you're organizing and think about how much your future self is going to thank you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below if there's anything else you'd like me to help you organize, or if you have any ideas for any future videos related to any subject. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, share this video with a friend, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it or a thumbs down if you didn't. The feedback really helps me create videos that I know you guys will like.